Okay guys, wanted to do a quick video about XLR-2, some updates, kind of what I've been working on, answer some questions, and address some things about the beta kits which I'm going to release probably tonight hopefully on my website and possibly on Armatan Productions as well. So, first thing first, been testing the Emax Power Pack version for probably about a week. Had a couple delays because I couldn't fly for a couple days, and it works good. I think that this is going to be first to be released. It's pretty straightforward. You buy the Emax Power Pack, which is around $70 depending on where you get it, and you have most of what you need. You just need to buy a FPV system and a receiver. So that brings me to the first thing. FPV systems. Everyone asks, what can this thing fit? And a lot of people have asked, can it fit the RunCam Micro? And the answer is no. Okay? A lot of guys that are asking me this, I'm not sure if they have experience flying 2-inch, but that camera is actually still kind of too heavy. It's 6 grams, and a lot of these setups, for example, this was one that I tore apart, but this is the transmitter and the camera, are only like 3 grams total. So keep that in mind. This is actually very, very light. Also, space between the rails is 16 millimeters, so keep that in mind as well. Some of these cams actually won't fit. This particular one that I built up so far has the separated VTX and camera, the FX806 something, I don't know. You can get that on GetFPV and plenty of other places, or you could buy these all-in-one VM275T or CM275T, and you can separate the pieces if you want, or you can just put it on there in one piece. It's your call. But anyways, I am working on the standard version right now, and I've run into a couple things that I think I might change for the standard. Originally, the only difference was the bottom plate, and you can see I've got a couple of them stacked right here. These are both Emax ones. Yeah, these are Emax ones. But really, the difference is just the bottom plates. So you can see I've got a couple different size bottom plates here that I'm playing with. But the problem I'm seeing right now is the stack up. If you're going to run something like a Pico BLX inside of there, and you're going to run separate ESCs, that's probably not going to be a problem. You can get like little 6 amp, 7 amp ESCs that'll fit on the arms, just like the Emax Power Pack would. If you're going to run a stack though, with the 4-in-1 ESC like I've got here, I'm having trouble fitting that in there right now. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to design up a TPU holder that replaces the carbon piece and allows me to drop that down and make more room in there. So it'll actually probably replace the nut on the bottom. You won't have that, you'll just have a TPU holder that you can snap this into, in a sense. Yeah, in essence, it'll probably soft mount this. So I'm going to try to install this in one of them. And then lastly, you guys might be familiar with this thing. This is the new Raceflight 20x20 with the stackable ESC. This is not going to fit. Just telling you guys right now, do not plan on using this. It just, look how big it is. It's pretty big. In fact, I was designing a 3-inch for this, and well, let's just put it this way. I started out designing it really small as I thought it could be, and then when I got the boards in hand, I decided I'm going to have to grow it a little bit just to fit in that ESC. You can see they stuck out the part with the FETs pretty far. So if you're planning on building a 2-inch, I guess you can use this depending on what frame you're using, but it's not going to work on XLR-2. So that answers that question. These I want to make fit because these are very common. So XLR-2, the regular 2-inch version, I'm not going to release yet. Just the Emax version, because with the Emax version you are going to be using the femto, which doesn't even have mounting points. You just stick it there with tape. And this is a pretty straightforward and easy build. So let's talk about some of the frame things and why this is going to be a beta release and not a full release. So I'm trying to get these things out quick to you guys so that you can all have fun with them. And I'm having some minor fitment issues. So with the beta kits, there's going to be a little bit of a fit to finish to fit type thing you're going to have to do. And all it involves is you're going to go ahead and assemble it part of the way, and you're gonna sand the standoffs down. Basically, you need that top plate to sandwich these. You can kind of see how I'm rocking it back and forth. Well, it turns out it's a combination of the carbon and the plastic pieces. From what I've noticed, some of these actually fit together closer than others. When you start stacking up parts, you get a tolerance stack up. So if that nut's 2 thousandths thicker and the standoff's 2 thousandths taller and the carbon's 2 thousandths thicker, you add all those tolerances together, and now all of a sudden it doesn't fit together like it does in CAD. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and sell the beta kits, which I have 10 of them. They're going to be posted to the Shopify website for Space Cowboy Drone Design. And you're going to have to do a little bit of fitment. It's very easy though, so don't worry. Just about anybody could do it. All you're going to need is some sandpaper or a file. We're just going to sand plastic. It's super easy. And I'm going to post those kits at a very discounted price, just to kind of get people, get them in the hands of people that don't mind the fitment they have to do. And then hopefully once we get to the production version, which will go into full release on Armatan Productions and through my store, then it'll be a lot simpler and you won't have to do that, hopefully. It just depends. Again, like I said, there's a tolerance stack up, so there's possible that as we go through these, certain batches will have tighter fit than others. So keep that in mind. This process will technically apply to all of them, but hopefully you won't have to do it when we get to the full release. So let me take off the top plate and show you how to do this real quick, and we'll come back to the video. Okay, so real straightforward and quick. All you have to do is assemble the frame to this point. So you've got your screws on the bottom with your nut, your flight controller mount, your 3 standoffs, and then what you want to do, get yourself some sandpaper. This is adhesive back sandpaper, which I usually peel off a strip. This is meant to go on a sanding block, but it's tacky on this side, right? Then what I do is I just stick this to my table somewhere, typically, like so. And then let's go ahead and tear this. So now I've torn off that piece, and basically once you've got it to this stage, I'm just going to take it and kind of sand these down. And the goal is to sand them down just enough so that you're taking off some of the height and making that top plate squish down on the side plates. It shouldn't take you too long to do. You can also use a small hand file, but if you want them all to be even, I find the best way to do it is to take a piece of sandpaper on a flat surface. If you have a sanding block, use a coarse grit, 200, 180, something like that. You don't need something fine because you'll be there all day doing that then, and you're not going to see that side once you're done, so you might as well just use a coarse grit. Once you've done that enough, you're going to go ahead and assemble the pod, which I've shown you in the other video. Real quick, let me tell you another tip about the pod, but first I'm going to come back to the camera after I get to the parts. So tip number 2 for the beta kits. If you get the kit from me, you're going to get several of the loom bands for your camera mount, okay? Now, what I want to show you is that the camera mount, in the previous video I showed you how to wrap the bands around the camera. I'm going to also add a couple extra bands. What you want to do is wrap it around both this way and that way. You're basically going to sit the rubber bands in those little grooves where the cutter is used to make a sharp corner typically. What this is going to do is it's going to push the plates out a little bit and take some of the play out. It also might add a little bit of damping. We'll see. But anyways, I'm going to loom it around that real quick so you can see the pattern, and then we'll come back. Alright, so you can kind of see what's going on here. We've kind of looped it around the notch like I showed you in the previous video to hold the camera in, and then added another one around, and you can see how it sits in the little cuts. This would be the back side probably, because this side you want it to kind of go around the lens of your camera. And now when we insert this into here, so I'm going to insert it into here, it's just gonna, the rubber bands are just gonna kind of push the 2 plates out, take a little bit of the play out of them, so your camera doesn't move around too much. So that would be the second tip for the beta kits that you're gonna have to follow. Like I said, if you get the kit from me, you'll probably be getting a bunch of these extra rainbow loom bands. If you get the kit from Armatan Productions, you'll have to go ahead and find a source for those. I don't know what countries Amazon deals in. I got these ones off of Amazon for $5. But if you have a craft store or something, you can probably get them too. They're cheap and they're usually easy to get. So hopefully most people will be able to get their hands on them. If not, just find a rubber band that works for you and go at it. So anyways, let's assemble this thing back together real quick, and then I'll make a couple final remarks. And hopefully this thing will be posted on the store tonight. Right, so if you do those two things while you're building it, you will make it a lot better fitment. And it'll just be tighter overall. So basically all we did was we sanded the 3 standoffs. We added the rubber bands around the mount in both directions to help hold it in better, give it a little bit less play. So it's got a nice rubbery feel to it. And that's pretty much it for the beta kit. The rest you kind of build the way I showed in the previous video. And it's pretty straightforward, especially Emax Power Pack kit. Last couple comments I want to make. Okay, so I've got a couple base plates here. XLR, which one is this? Yeah, okay, this is the regular 2-inch, which, like I said, I'm working on. So, standard 1104, 1105 motors, Rotor X style, Airblade UAV, you know, DYS, they all make that same pattern motor. These other 2 base plates, just kind of show you, kind of overlay them. I don't know if you can tell. They are longer. So, eventually, this is hard to do because XLR-2 is kind of supposed to normally mean 2-inch, right? But as everyone knows, there's a bunch of different prop sizes when you get down to the 2-inch range. It's 2.5 or 2.3 or 2-inch or 1.9. So originally I was going to have just 2 configurations, 2-inch and the Emax Power Pack, which is 2.3-inch. Now I'm going to go ahead and I think we're going to have the 2.5-inch, which from the very beginning, because I got these all at the same time, I had actually wanted to try it because I've had 2.5-inch props for a long time and I've never used them. In fact, everything I've had to clip them down. So these are going to be for a 2.5-inch version of the XLR-2. And once I figure out how to get this all-in-one into it, I'll probably release it. It might be with a 3D printed part, which normally I don't do. But since I'm going to be selling them on my store, I might print a couple or have somebody print them for me, and I'll sling them with the kits. Of course, if you're going to buy it from Armchain Productions, you'll have to source your own. But, you know, it'll be easy because I'll post the file to Thingiverse. So anyways, that's the update on XLR-2 and a couple build tips for the beta kits, which I'll have available on the site hopefully very soon. So thanks for tuning in, and bye.